Alright, so going to be showing you guys a game on Serene Coast in the T54 lightweight, and this, man, this was also another one of those really, really close games, guys, that I've had in like the last month. Like this one really came down to the wire as well. This is very, very close, and again, Serene Coast, man, like I'm not a huge fan of this map. You would think that this map would be pretty decent for light tanks, but it's just the way like the angles work on this map. It's kind of a brawling map. Like you have your B3 kind of like C2-ish area, whatever you want to call this area right here. That's kind of a brawling zone, right? And then you have your heavy brawling zone. And the lane in the middle, again, kind of a brawling zone. Like, you would think that you'd be able to spot really well on this map because, look, there's so many trees, there's so many bushes, there's so much foliage, man. It's, like, really good. But this whole middle area is also a brawling zone, and really your only chance to spot people is just by, like, running near these train tracks and stuff. I mean, you can try and get fancy. In the even 90, I've gotten into... I'm going to just pause and show you guys. Like, I've tried getting into like this bush here. There's like one here. You can try and sit in like this one, or you can knock this little tree on the corner of this rock and sit here on the enemy spawn. I've sat here before where this tree is knocked, so it looks like someone is sitting there. Like, there's areas you can try and go. I think I've even tried to go to like this bush up here once in the even 90, because I would try all kinds of random crap in the even 90, man. But I'm telling you guys, like, it's a lot harder than it looks because of the way this map works. Like, it's the way the terrain is, right? Like the level of the terrain, it's very, very challenging to spot and get good angles for shots on this map, because there's like this whole ridge line over here that it's really tough to find the right angle as a tank destroyer even to get shots of people in like this whole area. You kind of have to wait. If you're on this spawn, you have to wait for people to like, well, this is a baboon. PFC wolf or whatever, but you have to wait for people to literally like crest this ridge if you're going to get shots into them from here. So anyway, all that being said, I like to come to this area on the map and knock all these trees down and just sit here. So usually I'll go over here from the initial spots, right? And at the very beginning of the game to get initial spots and initial shots, this is the location I like to go. You can hit some tank destroyers will come this way, but mostly heavies. You can hit them in the side, and then this is usually where I will go to, depending on what the situation is on the map, because sometimes you'll have like 3 tanks just come in like this, and you kind of have to counter that. So you just never know on Serene Coast, man. And this is why I say, I'm explaining why I'm not a huge fan of this map overall, man, because it just took me so long to understand exactly how this map works, and even then, I still have trouble with this one. So I like to knock all these trees. You want to be careful of the blind fire because people are going to see it. I think someone even tried to shoot there. Maybe it was like someone behind me or something like that. But you just have to be really careful because it's kind of obvious when you knock down all these trees. And then see, once people crest this ridge, you will have the shots. I'm able to spot the FE in the back from here as well, right? So obviously the FE 4005s have no camo at all. I should be spotting this guy at this range. I'm not surprised I did. But even from here, you can spot people, right? And so that's why I like coming to this area. I just find it too risky in the very beginning of the game to come here, because a lot of times you'll get tanks in this area that will have clips, and they'll try and clip you out before you can run away, and it's just annoying, man. So you have to wait until people crest this ridge, and then you can kind of get shots on them. And kind of spotting the gorilla here, I'm going to take a shot on him as well. And you can see how I make this work, right? So even from this far out, we're still able to spot Gorilla 15 and the FE 4005. And now we're in a situation where we can try and take a shot at the 405 here. I'm sorry, 907. I was still thinking of the FE 4005. We have the 907 here, and we also have the WZ pushing around. And like, this is a big problem, man. I'm going to try and stay here as long as I can, but we're getting into that situation where like I'm about to bite off more than I can shoot, right? And then 907 starts YOLOing after me here, and this guy, man, I don't know, for whatever reason, this guy just really wanted me. Like, I'm trying to run away from this guy. He has no idea if anyone's here, so I'm going to turn here. My engine is kind of damaged, right? He's trying to get another shot into me here, and he's just going to blindly run all the way around this corner. Like, this guy doesn't even know where my support is. If I actually had support here, it would have been a lot better, but this guy just goes running right through here trying to clean me up and gets one more shot into me there, hitting me in the track, knocking my engine out. I'm like, dude, leave me alone, man. Like, this guy is just going all out. So I'm going to return a shot into him as he's pulling away. Now the 140 is countering him. And yeah, this guy is just really, like, making a beeline for me, man. And I lost all my HP to this guy. And this is why, guys, you don't want to stay... you don't want to overstay your welcome in a particular area, right? We lost that whole side of the map, and I probably should have ran away a minute sooner, but it's almost like me staying wasn't the worst thing because we lured the 907 in a way, and you know, I think we kind of got this guy in a little bit of a bind because we do have the Jagdpanzer back here. So if the 140 starts getting backed up, well, then we have the Jag to back us up as well. So, and what's weird about this one is I would argue the western portion of this map is much more important. It's just kind of the way the map works. Once you win this ridgeline, it's pretty easy to advance into the enemy bases. But for whatever reason, you know, we were able to win this game, right, by taking the eastern portion of this map. And it's just the way we kind of countered it. Right, we all did a great job countering it, so it's this is kind of a rare one, right? Usually, when you lose the west side of this map, you usually lose the game, because once you win the west side, you kind of have control over this like whole city area too, and then once the heavies kind of leave from this area, you get shots at them. But I think because we took the east so fast and our heavies pushed in, like see where they pushed into, like they're all the way in the south side of the map. I think maybe we were able to beat that counter that they would have had advantage of, right? So I don't know, man. Like, again, I'm not a map expert, guys, but that's just the way I'm looking at it, you know? Like, I feel like these people right here, the TL7 and the AMX, would be the people that would be hit by that counter, right? Like, because once the enemy takes that west side, you get countered hard in that area because they now own like 2/3 of the map, if that makes sense. So that's how I see it. And if you do end up winning the east portion of this map really, really fast, maybe that's not the case, and I guess the 705A and the AMX M4 actually made a decent call, but our AMX does die, and this guy ends up getting into a crossfire, the 705, and yeah, man, like these guys, they pushed so they didn't get countered by people taking the mid, but then they left themselves to get wrecked by people that were still at the base. So it's unfortunate, man. I think they could have even been better off if they even poked the ridgeline over here instead of leaving one way or the other, right? Because it's when they leave from the south or from the north that they get hit with the cross shots, right, and into the side plates. So that's where you have to be really, really careful. But at these high tiers, man, like the 705A can angle and stuff, and these heavies can go hold down, and they're like ridiculous, right? At tier 10, like you have a lot of heavily armored vehicles, so you never know, man. You know, like sometimes I think I'm gonna read a game really well and see how it's gonna go, and then it just goes completely different. Like it just happens, guys, right? We're able to clean up the FE 4005 here, and now is when we're going to get into the good part of this game, right? The really, really good part of this game, right? So E50 is appearing here, and he is actually running away. And what's good about this situation is that the AMX M4 and the TL7 have enough HP where they can push in and not be too frightened, because I've eliminated the FE 4005, so there's really nobody that could one-shot either of these guys, right? So now we're going to push in. I'm going to kind of watch them. I'm watching these guys to make sure that they're going to push in and take the first shot, right? Because I have 59 HP. Obviously, I'm a one-shot to everything on the map, and now I can come around, kind of flank the E50 here. We're going to put a shot into him, and then the TL7 and the AMX M4 are able to clean this guy up. I stop here for just a second. I'm predicting Artie's going to fire on me. He does fire on me. Again, I'm 59 HP. A splash could even kill me. So we're able to avoid the Artie there. And now I'm going to push in fully and try and figure out where this Foch and the ST1 are. Or STI. I think it's ST1, right? So they have those two, and then obviously the M53 who was targeting me, and I don't blame him because, again, I'm a splash, right? I'm going to try and poke up and get a shot into these guys, but the terrain is really weird here, and I just couldn't really get the right gun depression and the right angle on the Foch. And now this is the only play that I was unsure about, right? I end up just sitting on the cap here because we have the TL7 over here, the AMX and the Jagdpanzer all pushing in, and it's just the ST1 and the Foch over here. And I just decided to get on the cap because what I'm thinking is I'm a one-shot. These guys will focus me. If I get on the cap, it's kind of going to force these guys out, right? Like, you have the AMX here, and you have the Jagdpanzer here, and at some point, like, these guys are going to have to come back to reset the cap. I don't even know where the Artie is. I guess he's trying to get, like, a shot. Maybe he's trying to go over this way to get a shot. But I feel like we have enough time where we can get these guys in a bind, right, if I sit on the cap. It ends up not mattering, though, for me, to even be... Like, it doesn't matter at all because they end up cleaning these guys up with no difficulty whatsoever. So... that's the only thing where I was like, maybe I should have helped these guys, because what if they died and then they were able to reset the cap? But I really do think, like, even if the Jagdpanzer was eliminated, that the AMX would adjust and, you know, move to a location where he could help me, and we still might be able to cap out, right? It's just the decision I made, guys. I had no HP, so that's what I decided to do. And we end up finding the M53, 55 over in this area. I think it was a good play on his part to try and run this way and maybe look for shots going this way, but his team just we got the better, you know, hand. We got the upper hand on them, I guess, and I guess the Jagdpanzer was able to flank. I'm not sure which way the Foch was facing, but they just got outplayed in that corridor there, and it was a GG. So that's how I see this one, guys. Again, it's just kind of confusing to think about this map, and usually the west side of this map will win the game, because again, once you win the west side of the map, you own like 2/3 of the map. You see that? Like, you own pretty much this, like, entire area to the left of this green line here. And that's usually why you end up winning the game. The only hard push is you have to watch out for people in, like, A7, right? Like, where I was sitting and the Jagdpanzer E100 was sitting. But once heavies try and leave this area, again, you're going to catch them out. Because if you have people here and stuff, you can get shots like this, you can get shots like this. And I think that's kind of why the West usually wins this game. This is my opinion. You guys might think differently, but I just think if you win the West first before the enemy team wins the East, if you send more people to the West, perhaps, I think you'd win the game from both spawns usually. Like, more times than not, I think you win the game just because of the way the map works. But again, at these higher tiers, man, you have some really powerful, like I was saying, really powerful heavies that can go hold down and hit really hard from over in this direction and kind of counter it. But if they end up capping out, well, like on either spawn, you can't reset the cap from over here either. So that's another downside, and it's just, this is how I see the map, man. And I feel like with a couple tank destroyers back here, like on this side of the map, I feel like it's easier. So in other words, for the enemy spawn, I feel like it's easier to defend this because you just put a couple tank destroyers back here, you know, and heavies don't want to push. From this spawn, it's more tricky because you can only put like one person here, and then it's like you can come around the entire corner over here as long as there's nobody here, because a lot of tank destroyers will like sit back in this area. So I feel like for the south spawn, they almost have an advantage here, right? Because they can come all the way up to this corner before they're contested, whereas for our spawn, like, you can poke like right here and tank destroyers will have shots. Like, you can only go like halfway down this eastern portion of the map and tank destroyers already have shots in the back. So that's just the way Wargaming designed this map. So maybe it is more vital for a particular team to take advantage of the East like we did. I don't know, man. But the way I see it is no matter who wins the West, usually you have the advantage. That's my opinion, guys. You're more than welcome to add whatever you want to add and comment below what you think. Perhaps I'm wrong. Again, it took me forever to understand this map. But again, I only understand it really from the view of a light tank player also. So even though I've played a lot of other tanks, like, when I tell you guys I only play light tanks, I only play light tanks now. I used to play a lot of heavies back in the day, some mediums, a lot of Arta, man. I used to play a lot of RD too. But now that I've gotten good enough at the game to understand all the mechanics, all the locations, I understand the maps and everything, I like playing lights because they're the most mobile, they have the best view range, they have the best concealment, and you know, usually when you, I would say, like, this will be very controversial, but I think better players are going to be the best in light tanks just because they tend to do the best in end game scenarios. right? That's, again, another opinion for me. I know that's probably going to be very controversial, but you guys let me know what you think. I really like having mobility, concealment, view range. I love it, so that's why I play a lot of lights, man. And I just got into the habit of playing them, just like Steel Guts, right? It's just, we just love playing lights, man. So enough with this video, guys. I'm going to show you the templates and let you go because it's a pretty long video and I'd like to get some sleep, man. And I'm going to do the rest of the videos that I have for this week tomorrow for you guys. But 3797 spotting, 2114 damage, 2 kills, first class game. By the way, the equipment I was running was CVS in the scouting slot, a low noise exhaust, and then bounty optics. Here's the overall score here, guys. We were top by experience. Whatever by damage here, we had other people do a lot more damage, and here's the detailed report, and that's all, guys. I will let you go. 11-minute game, but I wanted to bring you this one. It was very, very close, and it was one of those games that got me very close to that 3 mark. I kind of went out of order and brought you guys my 3 mark game in the T54 lightweight right away, so you might not see this video for another couple of weeks after that one, right? Maybe like 3 weeks. I'm very ahead with my videos, but really wanted to show you guys this one. I hope you enjoyed. Hope it helps you out. Hope you learned a thing or two. I'll catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.